Om Shanti. Today Baba says that those who have faith will be successful. Baba says those whose intellects have faith become victorious. And I just asked you to reflect on whether we have faith. Now, sometimes, there is this thing that I hear that I have faith in Baba. Yes? Do you have faith in Baba? How many of you have faith in Baba? Now let's understand this very well. God is what God says. God is what God says. If you have faith in Baba, you have to have faith in everything he says. And if you don't have faith in what he says, then you don't have faith in him. Because God is the word of God. Gita is Bhagwanu Vach. And God is introduced as the sermonizer of Gita. So you cannot separate God from what he says. So everything that he says in the Murli, do I have faith in that? Yes, that do I have faith in purity? Whatever Baba says about purity, about the importance of purity, about the power of purity, do I have complete faith in the power of purity? Do I have complete faith in the power of remembrance? Every day Baba is telling us to remember him. Do I have faith that remembrance is actually as important and as powerful as he tells it is? Do I have faith in the power of seva? Do I have faith that if I do as he says, there is actually going to be a heaven on earth and I'm going to rule there? So you have to deeply check for these things. Very, very deeply. And when we have faith, then we will have courage. And today's Murli is about courage. And courage, why courage? Because, when I came into Gyan, I used to think that it doesn't take courage to do the right thing. I always felt that doing the right thing should be the easiest thing to do. But when I came to Gyan, I understood that doing the right thing is an act of courage. Because this world is a vicious world. And they do not stop you when you do the wrong thing. But when you do the right thing, there is a lot of resistance. You want to become vicious? People will tell you, what can we do? The world is like that. And everybody is vicious. So, okay. You want to be pure? People say, what is wrong with you? Why do you want to be pure? Has somebody misguided you into purity? And it requires a lot of courage. Courage to do the right thing. And that courage has its roots in faith. We have to understand this first. If we don't have faith, we will not be able to tread the path that Baba is showing and maintain the courage all along, because there will be so many challenges, and in order to cross those challenges you have to have the fire of faith burning, and the heat of courage that's going to take you forward. So that's very important. Now, first thing, I want to clarify something about this courage. So, courage has to be understood well, because let me give you an example for this. So, there is this, in fact, two examples I'll give you. So, there is this Mata, and she's in Gyan, and then she wanted her son to get admitted somewhere. So she bribed somebody. She gave a hefty bribe, and then I told her, so, and that person ran away with the money, obviously. And then after he ran away with the money, she came to Baba, and then she told me, Didi, so such and such thing happened. So I said, fine. So he ran away with the money, good for you. So she said, Didi, Baba says you should have courage, and I have so much faith in Baba. I did not flinch. I thought, okay, I'll give the money, Baba will take care of the rest. Okay. So, so then I said, okay, if you have such deep faith, then now have faith that the good happened. Okay, and the good thing is you learnt your lesson. So this is not courage. So courage doesn't mean taking a bold step which lands you inside the well. So that's not courage. So Baba has never said you go and bribe somebody. So when Baba has not given that direction, how can you say that Baba will see that that direction is, fulfilled, or Baba will ensure that that thing will happen? Baba has not told you to do that. So courage to do what Baba tells you to do. Courage only is applied in Srimat. Everywhere else you have to take calculated risks. Everywhere else there is a calculated risk. You know what you're doing, you know what it entails. You take a risk, it might work, it might not work. And in both the cases you've taken a calculated risk. You know what risk you have taken. If it works out, good for you. If it doesn't work out, also you have to accept it. Because yes, you have to take risks sometimes in life, but that's not about courage. That's a calculated risk you take, which can go both ways, and it is okay. And then you take a risk and you see the result, and if it's to your liking, good. If it's not, you accept it. The next time you recalculate. That's how it goes. And this courage applies to Srimat. So Baba says, I give you certain directions, the directions like purity. So Baba says, you observe celibacy in a family life, you stick to your purity, you stick to having pure food. And Baba says, if you do as I say, there might be many obstacles, but ultimately you will win, that I will ensure you. Because this courage is being taken because I am telling you to take that step of courage. So because you are following my direction, I will make sure I see you through. Okay, but Baba doesn't say that you use this point of courage in places where you are doing things on manushyamat, and on the directions of humanity. Now, mostly Baba has given directions about everything. So Baba has told us, don't take bribes, give bribes. That's something that we are told very unequivocally. So we have to see, if we are going against Srimad, then Baba is not going to see us through. Then, and if you are choosing to do that, you may choose to do anything. Choice is a very private, personal thing, but then you understand that you're taking a risk, and a risk is just a risk. So Baba says, apply this point of courage in the right place, first thing. And Baba is mostly talking about purity when he says you have courage, because you see, when Shiv Baba came and gave this teaching of purity, then brothers and sisters started embracing purity, and then there was a lot of upheaval in the society. Yes, there was a lot of upheaval in the society, and there were lots of challenges that Brahma Baba had to face, because Shiv Baba couldn't be seen, so Shiv Baba didn't face the challenge. So it was the face of Brahma Baba which was seen. So Brahma Baba had to face all the challenges. But Baba says, I had so much faith in Shiv Baba that those challenges did not shake me up. So Baba says, you be immovable and unshakable with a strong foundation of courage. So whenever you want a structure to not be shaky, the foundation has to be strong. So the foundation is faith. So if your faith is deep, then you will stay immovable and unshakable in the face of challenges, because challenges will come when you take the step of doing what Baba says. So Baba says you become a Mahavir. So this is something about courage. Then the second thing Baba tells is about not being upset. Okay, now why do we become upset? Now about this thing of challenges and Maya. So Baba says that Maya has two main faces: the attractive face and the scary face. So Maya lures you, or Maya makes you afraid. Okay. Now, what are you afraid of? Okay. Let's understand this. So you are afraid to lose that which you think you own, or that which you think is the foundation of your happiness. But underline this word think. You think you own something, you think something is going to be with you always and give you happiness, and that's why you are afraid to lose that. But if you don't do the right thing, if you don't follow Srimad, and if you say, okay, I am afraid I will lose this if I do as you say, Baba, then Baba will ask you one very simple question. Can you guarantee the continuity of what you think is important to you if you don't follow Srimad? Yes, so you have to think about this very important thing. Everything in the world which you are basing your identity on or your happiness on is very, very transient. And if you are making decisions based on those transient aspects, then those decisions you will regret tomorrow. Okay, now I will tell you one example here. So there is this brother, and he said, my wife's father was a BK, or is a BK, and he has been into Gyan since long, like she has been in Gyan since the 80s. So my wife was always, as a child, afraid that her father would leave her because he was so dedicated in his Brahmin life. And there was no foundation for that fear, but anyways, fear is something that never has a foundation. So that child's mind created these thoughts that the father would leave her. Now that woman, when she grew up, now when she got married, this man who she married was very impressed by the father. So he saw that he was a man of character and a man of great, personality, and he had this strength of character, and it really attracted him. And he also wanted to do the course ever since he got married. But then the wife said, if you do the course, then we will have a divorce. And then he didn't undertake the course. And later, after some years, the wife had untimely death. And then he couldn't deal with that death, and he wasted a long time because he was not in a frame of mind where he could deal with that loss. And then when he came to Baba, he told me, Didi, you see, my wife stopped me from coming here, but if I had come here earlier, I would have dealt with that loss better. And I regret that now, that I wasted 20 years of my life and I couldn't take care of my children in the right way, and everything went haywire because I didn't listen to God, I listened to a human, and now that human left me. I didn't listen to God on the promise that this human would stay with me, that this human wouldn't be upset, and now I know that I made a bad decision. So Baba says, the things for which you care so much so as to not listen to Baba, do you guarantee those people, those things will stay with you? So Baba says, किसकी परवाह करते हो? Who do you care for, and who do you disregard while you care for those who might leave you anytime? So Baba asks us this question about, this courage. And what does Maya do? Maya will always tell you, you will lose, you will lose your dignity, somebody will not like it, some relationship will not be happy with you, or maybe your boss will be upset if you take pure food and if you don't eat on the table. And then these things, these petty things give us a feeling of fear, and then we don't do what Baba says, influenced by that fear. But Baba says, this fear is just an act of Maya, and it stops you from taking that step of courage. And if you just take that step, you will know that everything will be fine. You will not lose anybody, you will not lose anything. But this fear will stop you from seeing that you will not lose. This is the greatest illusion. So, Maya will make you so afraid. Maya will Maya will put you into this fear of defamation. Maya will put you into this fear that others will judge you. Maya will put you into this fear that, and there is this woman who told me that, Didi, I go to a kitty party and we are 20 friends there, and this out of those 20, when I came into Gyan, I told everybody that I'm doing the Brahma Kumari's course, and I came to know that 7 of them are doing the course. They are BKs, but they never shared because they were afraid that others in the kitty would judge them for being spiritual. But then when she took that step of courage, others also came out in the open and said, oh yeah, we also know Baba and we also follow Srimad, and it gives us so much power. So Baba says Maya creates this illusion, the fear of defamation, the fear of judgment, the fear of insult. The fear of insult is a big one. And Baba says, what if they insult you? Baba in the Murli says this very nicely. Baba says, what if they insult you? What loss will you have if somebody insults you? Baba says people insulted everybody. And you see that when you read the story of Sri Krishna in the scriptures, there is so much of defamation, insult. That which is not true about his story is told in that story. So Baba says people defame God all the time. People say ill things about deities. So what if they insult you? It's just their opinion and they will think as they are. It has got nothing to do with you. So Baba says, don't fall into this trap of fear created by Maya. But be very wary of what I told you earlier, which is discern between courage and, foolishness. So it's not like you jump into the well and say, Baba will save me, I have faith in Baba. That's not the way. So Baba tells you, you follow my Srimad, you follow what I am telling you in the Murli, I am standing with you, I will see you through. Other things you take calculated risks or don't take the risk. If something is against Srimad, don't do it. You will suffer. Okay. Now, another thing that Baba tells today is about connected to this feeling of getting upset. Baba says, what is the reason for your happiness? So, if the reason for your happiness is a relationship, it's a position, it's something else, then you will be very upset when that relationship or that position is challenged when you follow Srimad. Yes, so Baba says, what should be the reason of your happiness? Baba gives us many points today. I will read that out to you. Baba says, you children have now found the Father, and so the mercury of your happiness should rise. What should be the reason for your happiness? You found Baba. Yes, and somebody asks you, why are you happy? You say, I got a promotion. You're not happy you found God, and you're happy because of a promotion, is it? Yes. So the reason is you found Baba, and in this lifetime you cannot find a better reason. So stick to this reason. And anything happens, anything bizarre, anything happens in life, ask yourself, am I still a soul? Yes. Is Baba still with me? Yes. Then I have not lost anything. If you are still intact, if Baba is still with you, then you can make good of anything that's not good right now. So Baba says, You have found Baba, and so the mercury of your happiness should rise. Then Baba has given you the knowledge of the cycle of 84 births. You should have the happiness that you have now become spinners of the discus of self realization. You know your journey, you know you were a deity. Is there a bigger reason to be happy than knowing who you really were and knowing that you were so fascinating as a deity? So Baba says this should be the reason of your happiness. Third thing is you should have the happiness that you are becoming the masters of the land of Vishnu through the Father. And then you should have the happiness that you're going to be a king in Satyug. But you will have the happiness as much as you have the faith. If you have the faith that you've really found Baba, that you were really a deity and that you're really going to rule in the heavenly kingdom, then you will be full of happiness of these things. And then anything on the external world cannot take away your happiness. And any up and down cannot make you leave Baba's hand or cannot make you scared that you will lose something. So this is what Baba says today. And then Baba in the Murli says a very interesting thing. This is a food for thought. Baba says, it is the system in Bharat that a bride is told that her husband is her God, that she has to obey his orders and she has to massage his feet. This is because they believe that Lakshmi massaged the feet of Narayan. So, ever since we were children, there is only one picture of Lakshmi Narayan, and the picture is that Narayan ji is, resting in a resting posture, and Lakshmi ji is massaging his feet. And this is the image we are given of a relationship, of a conjugal relationship since childhood. So Baba says that where did that habit emerge from? From the false pictures. Such things do not exist in the golden age. Does Narayan ever become tired that Lakshmi would have to massage his feet? Baba says tiredness is a human trait. Deities don't get tired. So Narayan doesn't get tired and Lakshmi ji doesn't massage the feet. So you don't massage the feet, you don't massage the ego, you don't massage anything in Satya. Because there is no tiredness and no ego. And Baba says, there is no question of tiredness there. That would be a matter of sorrow. If really Narayan would get tired, then tiredness is a form of sorrow. How could there be sorrow there? They have written so many false things. So Baba says, I tell you the truth. And when Baba came, Baba changed the picture of Lakshmi Narayan. He got a picture created where Lakshmi and Narayan were standing side by side. And where it was a picture of equality. And Baba says it is these body conscious ideas. So this whole power structure is created out of a very body conscious approach. And then the pictures and the scriptures and everything we read and study is based on that body conscious approach. And then we subconsciously, consciously, in very subtle ways, we are taught that this is lesser than that and that is greater than this. Baba says nobody is less than or greater than. You are all who you are unique, and that's okay. So Baba releases us from this whole thought process of less than and greater than. Baba says everybody is not the same, but we are not less than or greater than. We are who we are unique. Yes, can you compare oranges and apples? No. They are both good in their place. That's how every soul is. Every soul is unique. And every soul has a role to play, and they are good for their role. They may not be good when you compare them about playing your role, but they are good where they are. So Baba says that understand all this. There is no less than, there is no greater than. And there is nothing wrong with massaging anybody's feet also. But that is not an obligation. Yes, that's not an obligation. So there is no problem with the act. There is a problem with where it comes from. So Baba says every soul owes only one thing to another soul, which is love and respect. And as an expression of love and respect, you can massage your feet also. That's not the problem. Somebody has a pain in the leg, you can massage the leg. That's not the problem. But that's an expression of love and respect. Okay, so that's how we need to understand things in the right perspective. Now, Baba also says, so I told you about this insult that Baba talks about. Baba says, while living at home, remain as pure as a lotus. There is nothing to be afraid of. Perhaps at the most they will insult you. People will say you live like brothers and sisters, and I don't know where you're going, what you're learning. So Baba says they will insult you. This one was also insulted a great deal. Baba says Brahma Baba was insulted so much. So what? He will still become Sri Narayan. So Baba says they have also shown Krishna being insulted a great deal. So Baba says, so when everybody is insulted and still they are who they are, you will also continue to be who you are. And anybody's insult doesn't change who you are. And people don't understand what you're doing, so obviously they will give their bizarre opinions on that, and that's okay. Yes. And there was this one time when this brother told me, people don't think nice about Brahma Kumaris and this and that. So I said, you expressed your opinion about me. Do you want me to express my opinion about you? Because if we all came to expressing our opinions, then obviously nobody will be in a place of respect. So we don't give good, respectful opinions because we don't have the sanskar of respect. And that's got nothing to do with who anybody is. So let's just understand where an insult comes from. An insult comes from a place of low self-esteem. When somebody insults you, it comes from a place of low self-esteem. And when somebody has low self-esteem, you have mercy on them. You have compassion for them. You don't take their offering of low self-esteem and digest it and spoil your state of mind. That's not what you do. Otherwise, if you do that, you also have low self-esteem. Then you treat your low self-esteem, then that gets treated automatically. Okay, so this is something. And then Baba also says that you become pure, you also make sure that your creation becomes pure. So Baba says, you see, when it comes to physical sustenance, if you eat healthy food, don't you ask your children to do the same? Yes, whether they obey or not is another thing, but you always share with your children, with your spouse, what you think is good for the body, right? And you also say that if you do this, you give them some incentive, I will cook and feed you if you eat healthy food with me. All these incentive also you give. So Baba says, when you understand purity is good for the soul, you also share it with your spouse, children, everybody around you, and also give them incentive that if they really embrace this path, then you will help them, you will be with them. And Baba says, if you deeply understand the power of purity, you will also encourage and mostly ensure that your creation also follows the path of purity. And if you're not encouraging that, that means you've really not understood that purity is good for you. And here also I will share one thing. So there was this woman who told me that her husband left her with two daughters. One daughter was aged 10 and another was aged 8. And the husband was a medical professional, and he just came one day and said, I'm done with you. I don't want to be with you anymore, and I'm leaving you. And why? Because he fell in love with her, with his assistant. And then he left that woman overnight. And when that woman asked that, what do I do with the girls? So I have two daughters, we have two daughters. What do I do about them? He said, you do whatever you want with them. I have got nothing to do with them. And he just left, he escaped. And then this woman, she went door to door seeking help, and then she got a job for herself, which she had left when she got married because the husband wanted her to leave the job. And then after a lot of struggle, she raised those two girls, and now those girls are 23 and 25. And when she came to the center, she told me this whole story. She was sobbing all the time, but then what she told in the last sentence was very amazing, because she said, now I have only one worry, which is I want my girls to be married well. So I told her, you never learn, do you? Did your father not marry you well? Was it his mistake? Don't you learn that nothing is reliable? So you fortify your inner self is most important, so that you deal with the vagaries of life. But if you have not learned that yourself, how will you teach it to others? The thing is, you endured a lot but learned nothing. And then she slowly, gradually understood after she took the course and everything. So Baba says, a soul's wealth is the inner powers, purity, peace, love, spiritual strength. That's what is your inner power, and you focus on that. And when you understand that's your true wealth, you teach your children to build their spiritual resilience by adopting the path of purity, by adopting the path of spiritual knowledge. And Baba says, and yes, of course, you cannot dictate anybody's destiny. So you do the needful, so that you never have you never have a regret that you didn't do what you needed to do. Rest is up to destiny. So Baba says, you become pure, have courage, and also encourage your creation to become pure. So in the next course, all register your children and your spouse if you have any control over them. Okay, so do that. That's your duty. That's your spiritual duty towards that soul. And they are a soul. So this is the duty we need to fulfill. And then Baba says this beautiful thing in the blessing that you become a trustee of your body. Now, I will cover this in very brief. So, Baba has told us that the reason for corruption is not being a trustee. So, you look at all the offices that are misused these days. So, people misuse their office powers. And why do they do that? Because everything is given in trust, but they start taking it as their own and they start doing what they want with it. Yes. So this lack of being a trustee is the reason for corruption. And Baba says corruption doesn't only happen with respect to the financial and other powers that are given to you in a professional capacity. Corruption happens when you think this body, your mind, your wealth, everything has been given for your hedonistic, for living life in a hedonistic way, pleasure seeking way. So when you think that everything is being given to you so that you can lead a hedonistic life, that's where you become corrupt. So Baba says, understand that you are a soul, you have received a body, you have received time, wealth, you have received the capacity to think, not for your pleasure or not to pass it on to only people you are attached to, but it's all given to you in trust so that you can use it for world benefit. And world benefit means spiritual benefit, because the world will not benefit through physical support, it will benefit through spiritual support. And what is spiritual support? When a soul comes to know their inner powers and undertakes the course and listens to Baba, that's how there is spiritual benefit, and this is the only way. So Baba says, understand this and be a trustee of all that you've got. Om Shanti.